Hello, Salima.
Hi, Mia. How are you?
So busy. I'm getting a lot of legal questions these days because of COVID-19. People have heard that the courts aren't operating normally and they're wondering what to do.
I'm happy to help in any way I can. What type of questions are you getting?
Well, some people are being denied parenting time right now. So, should they go to court?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it really depends. So if you are denying parenting time or you are the person being denied parenting time, my answer is really the same, is that if you aren't able to sort things out between the two of you, then you do need to go to court. But whether you're doing the denying or denying, you have to know the courts are very busy. They're really looking at urgent issues. And so if you can sort things out yourself, that's the best way to do it, because your wait might be quite long in court. So how do you go about sorting things out? Well, first of all, be reasonable. This is just a moment in time. It's not forever. It's not going to last forever. So if someone has to give something up for a few months, you can always make it up later and figure it out later. But right now, you just got to get through things. So use the help of a mediator, use the help of a family justice counselor, reach out to someone in your mosque or your synagogue or your church, a priest or anyone that can help you with being an intermediary that can give you some advice, that can be the neutral party to help you figure things out, to talk to your trusted friends and say, hey, is this okay? Because remember, you're just making agreements right now for a couple months, and then we'll see what happens in a few months. But if really you're doing your best and you can't get through, and you're being denied parenting time, or you're thinking you're just going to say no to parenting time, just sit back and think, is this reasonable? Is the court going to say, yes, you're being reasonable, you're doing what's there for the safety of your children? Because remember, at this time, it's not about what's convenient, who's having more fun, is it fair for the parents? Is the safety of the children at risk or not? If the safety of the children is not at risk and everything else looks okay, the court's going to say, follow your order, follow your agreement. If you don't have an order agreement, do what you normally do. But this is not the time to be making grand sweeping changes or anything like that. Just get through what you can right now, and just be as kind and accommodating as you can.
That's so helpful, Salima. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what about people who have an order for child support, but the other person has stopped paying? What should they do?
Again, it's the same sort of thing. If you have an order for child support and you rely on it and you can't pay your rent, you can't feed your children, that's really tough. And the court might look at that and say, well, that's urgent. Let's get going on that. But really, your first line of defense should be call FMEP, register your order agreement. FMEP is going to be the best at enforcing it. They will be able to contact the other party and say, hey, you got to pay these things. If you have no order for support and you're not getting anything, and you should be, and you were previously, or you think you're entitled to it, try and work things out. Again, same advice as before. Try and get a third party, family justice counselor, someone in your community to help you negotiate something. If you can't, you may have to go to court. But again, is it urgent? Is it important? Because you can always get some money later, adjust your child support later. If you can make do right now, try to do that. But you certainly don't want to be, in a panic agreeing to an order for a couple $100s a month when you should be entitled to a couple thousand or something like that. So my sense is, figure things out for now. Don't hastily enter into agreements or orders that might not be a good for you in the end. Because remember, you enter an order agreement, come September, October, you're the father or the mother is, earning $150,000 again, but you agreed to child support and spousal support based on CERB at $2,000 a month. You're sort of stuck with that order until you can get back into court and say, hey, income has changed now. This person's not on CERB. They're not unemployed anymore. So once again, it's a moment in time. Try and negotiate things, but certainly if you need to survive, you need to survive, and you need to do what you need to do. But take some baby steps before you get to court, because that is going to be a tough place to get into right now.
Good to know, Salima. That's great information. I had a woman telling me that she was in the middle of getting an order about parenting time just as COVID-19 took over. Should she continue?
That's a good question. I don't see why not, but what you'd want to do is you don't want to talk about parenting time as it would be right now. Right now, you come to interim agreements. You don't necessarily need an agreement, just agree on in writing on email or text message or something. But if you're coming to an agreement is going to last you at least a few years. So what's going to work for a few years? So don't come to agreements about now. Come to agreements about what would be best that's going to last you a few years in terms of vacation, when you can travel again, when school's in session full time. If you think, I think things are going to be messed up for me for a few years because I have a baby and daycare is going to be hard, or I have a sick child, then you really should stop and get some advice before you keep going, because you just don't know what your reality is going to be like. But if your reality was pretty stable before, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, keep going. But again, seek advice and take things really slow. Talk to your friends and family and say, hey, I've negotiated this agreement. What do you think? And, they can look at it and say, hey, Salima, you tend to go away a lot on weekends. Does it really work for you to have, your child every weekend, whatever that might be? So take things slow and never ever rush into signing an agreement, because say someone says, hey, I'll give you extra child support if you sign this agreement. Be really weary of deals like that right now, because if you're in a tough financial position, you don't want to start agreeing to things that you later might regret.
Salima, this has been so helpful. Thank you. I really appreciate you being available today to help me know what to say to my clients.
You're so welcome, Mia. I'm happy to help with anything I can. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Thank you, Salima. Bye-bye.